This is the Gen Z Show.
I'm Johnny K.
And we are here to discuss very epic things. Dakota, take us in.
Alright, well, we're going to be talking about Palestine, or as many of you know it, as Gaza versus Israel. A lot of that. I'm going to go more into details about their budget, how many military personnel Israel has, the rebel to civilian ratio in Palestine. Andy, why don't you bring up the Is Israel Racist by BBC? But yeah, just a lot of details about like what has been bombed, was it necessary to bomb those things, and basically the aggression about what's overseas. Do you have any questions, Ryan?
Yes, actually, so what is this conflict about, actually?
It's over whether or not Palestine will get its own sovereign state from the Gaza Strip.
Isn't it also over Jerusalem and stuff?
I don't believe the Gaza... Anyway. So, Ryan wants to say happy birthday. Why don't you go for that, Ryan?
Alright, happy birthday, Mom. Happy birthday, Lisa Joanne Bianco.
Happy birthday to Austin. I think his birthday was sometime last week. And
Wasn't
also, congratulations to Chris, because it's like his 6-month anniversary, which is sort of not very long.
Also, sorry for getting off topic here. We're going to go to war, then birthday parties.
So I was listening to this thing from BBC that was broadcast in 2009. It's not too outdated, but I was reading a book by Orson Scott Card. He was the writer of Ender's Game. You guys know that movie?
I saw the movie, not so much the book, because I didn't know about the book, but yeah, for sure.
Yeah, he's a brilliant writer. So Ender, or Andrew Wiggin, who is the main character in the book, he was like contemplating why the Formics, which were the aliens that the human race was battling against, was basically surrendered when they knew that the humans had a weapon that could destroy their whole race. Because the thing about the Formics was that they were more advanced than the humans, and they knew of the weapon that the humans had, but they still gathered in a place where they would be destroyed, and that was what he was wondering about. And a point that Orson brought up was that the whole Formic race was based on reproducing and battling each other, and I think that's what humans do too. They were talking about racism as a bad thing, but it's really, I think it's part of a mechanism of survival for humans.
You mean human nature?
It's human nature to be racist, because you want to, you wouldn't be racist to your own kind, would you?
Nope.
People feel condescended when people bully other races, but you want to survive, you want to be the superior race, so what other way can you do it by eliminating other groups or races so that you can be the dominant group? It's sort of like a different way of looking at it. It's not something that I'm advocating or just trying to bring it up, because that's what every war, every illogical thing, especially because we are talking about war, it's all illogical, right? War isn't logical because it kills people, and when nature wants to survive, killing each other isn't really beneficial. But like the way I'm thinking at it is that it could be.
Well, yeah, no, war always comes down to things that other, countries will need from other races or countries, nationalities. And it always comes down to, what religion do they have? Maybe what tone of skin do they have, which is very, very bad. But anyway, I was going to bring up this, though. Howard Stern was a survivor of the Holocaust attending this BBC special that we just listened to. And in the second part, you can watch on YouTube, he talked a bit about World War II and how the Jewish people haven't had a home in so long, which is why they were called wandering Jewish people over the decades. I personally agree Israelites should have a country, but they should give up the Gaza Strip. That's my personal opinion, because I believe You know, you have a race of people, they want to be separate. All of them have agreed, you know, they're defending the border that they want. Why not just give them the country?
So I think one of the major things that we need to talk about Israel versus the Hamas group, which is what it seems like the battle is between, the motives behind each country or each political group, and what they are doing to get that. So if you guys didn't know, the Hamas group is considered a terrorist organization, but it's also a political party for the Palestinians prominently in the Gaza Strip and also in other parts of the Middle East. They're actually a very popular political group because they bring in free or very cheap healthcare, other social services, charity groups. They fund education, food for the impoverished, things like that, which I think is great. The U.S., a lot of the first world countries consider them as a terrorist group because they do, you know, advocate for violence a little bit.
Understandably, yes, but when you want to fight for something to be yours, you know, as a group, because maybe a lot of those people have been, you know, discriminated upon within Israel's borders, and now they all gathered in a section, and maybe their tribes were there and things like that over centuries ago, right? And now they just want that land back to maybe what was theirs. Because Israel wasn't always a state either, right? It's more recent than what some people might assume because of the Bible that says there, right? And especially what it says in the Torah, rather than maybe to Muslims who read the Quran.
So maybe you could tell us a little bit about Israel and their side of the conflict and what kind of battles they're facing right now. Okay.
Alright, well, just to describe what happened with recent bombings over in Palestine first, and then we'll get right into that. Over 3 schools have been bombed, only holding innocent children and teachers. UN building, there's a UN building on the Gaza Strip that has been bombed multiple times. And the UN is asking for a ceasefire, and they ceasefire for 7 hours the other day. That ceasefire came off, and Israel asked for another ceasefire just recently. The ratio of Palestinians that are just civilians and not rebels are 4-1. The total population of Palestine as of 2012 was 4 million. Israel has a total population of, sorry, ran out of breath, one sec. 7.9 million people, and there's a Gantz manpower military age 18 conscription law over in Israel, apparently. Available for military in Israel are 1,554,000 males aged 17 to 49. These are statistics from 2011, I should add. And 1,514,000 females aged 17 between 49. Active personnel are 176,000. Reserve personnel are 445,000. And the amount of money that Israel spends every year on the military is 57.7 of their national currency, which is converted into 16.5 billion percent of.
Wait, that's in the Americans.
Well, that's in the Americans. Back off. Well, it's closer to our dollar than, I suppose, other. And yeah, those are just the statistics of what's going on over there and how much manpower they have available.
Okay. So why are they fighting? That's the big question, because unless we know what the conflict is about, we can't stop it, right?
Yeah.
So fill us in.
Well, the way I look at it is Israel has an opportunity to either give up land or try and keep it, and I believe that Israel doesn't want, you know, Palestine to have a state because maybe they're scared of it becoming an Islamic extremist state. A lot of first world countries are scared of that, especially, which I don't understand, but we'll get into that a little bit later. And I think maybe like the resources there they don't want to give up, especially, and like it's on the coast, so
So it's basically a battle for land.
Yeah, it's just a battle for land and maybe a little bit of religious battle as well because it's Islamic versus Judaism.
I see. So do you guys ever, Johnny, Ryan, do you have any thoughts on what we were just talking about? Oh yeah, Johnny does. Johnny definitely does.
I just want to make one point. I am not qualified to really talk about the situation as a whole, but I want to just focus a little bit on racism. And I think there was one lady in that video who said something about, oh, you're using the term racism loosely or something like that, right? And I have to agree with that because not only the term racism, but think of other words like sexism, sexist, homophobic, homophobe, assault. We like to throw out those big words to make us sound so profound and make situations. Now, this situation is a big situation. Don't get me wrong. I'm just speaking in general terms. How we overuse or overemphasize things by using these words like racism or sexism. For example, a guy might stroke a girl's shoulder. Yes, that is inappropriate, that is rude, that can even be considered against the law, but we're calling it assault. It's not assault. A guy inappropriately touched you, he didn't assault you. Someone says, oh, I'll just use a different color actually just to be safe. Oh, the orange kid. Because I don't know of any cultures that anybody calls orange. So let's just say the polka dot orange kid. Now I'm really safe. Okay? Oh, you can go ahead. You can say something.
Oh, the orange at Jersey Shore. Just saying.
Okay, the kid that looks like Pauly D, and then you can say, oh, why do you single that kid out? Well, if every kid there is blonde, and one kid is polka dot orange, it makes sense to say the polka dot orange kid. But some people would take a comment like that and say, oh, you're just being racist by pointing out the minority kid. But that's all I'm going to say about that.
Alright, thanks, Johnny.
Yeah, you're welcome. My pleasure.
I do agree though, we do use words out of emphasis and context. Where like you explained, just touching someone. It's the same with the cops. Like I've seen cops beat up people, like really rough, just because they poked them. Right? They'll handcuff them maybe and throw them in a wall or something. And I've seen
They
some.
should have listened.
What's that?
They should have listened.
Yeah. I don't condone police brutality, and I'm much against it personally.
Yeah. So I have another thought on why people are fighting each other, especially in the Middle East. People who have strong opinions tend to get into lots of fights.
No.
Yeah. Extremism. People on Facebook talking about their opinions never goes down very well.
The
Call
great
of Duty.
perma ban in the sky is what I want to talk about. I got banned from that Islam versus Christianity site.
Yeah, because your opinions weren't strong enough.
They just weren't offensive enough, I suppose.
Yeah, someone I know posted something about homosexuality on Facebook. It was something that it wasn't a modern point of view, but so you get flack for that. And the thing I think is that you can have an opinion that people think is wrong, but I don't think people should be beating you up and considering you a bad person for thinking like that, even if it's bad, because they have a reason for that, and so do people who think they're right, because they always think they're right. Maybe there can be a compromise, and especially for war, there's got to be a compromise too. I mean, for Germany maybe, they're going out to battle people. I mean it's for the Second World War. They want to kill all the people that weren't blonde-haired, blue-eyed. But it's just
Aryan.
yeah, but maybe there's some sort of nutty reason that made sense. So it's just like we all have opinions, so don't judge. Yeah. Awesome.
Speaking of making sense. Just kidding, just kidding.
Alright. So bring us back to the discussion, Dakota.
Actually, I'm actually curious. When did the conflict start between the Israelis and
Thousands of years ago.
Honestly, that is kind of accurate. It did happen because, you know, the Israelites versus most of the Muslim groups and Christian groups.
religions?
Yeah, exactly. Just different. No, it's history. We learn this in history. If the teachers can't talk about it, I can't talk about it. That's the way I'm gonna
Yeah,
go
just a
about
whole
it.
bunch of battles against religions.
Yeah, it's what it was, right? And so now we just have the conflict. Like 1948, I believe, is when Palestinian first wanted their own sovereign state. Maybe they didn't come up with a name yet, but they did want the Gaza Strip in that year. And then since then, they've been fighting. We've been fighting. I'm not even over there nor fighting.
And we're Canadian. We
Oh.
don't get into fights.
I
that
have
much.
I have a public service announcement and a message to everyone who's fighting out there. Your religion probably states that you shouldn't be fighting people anyway, so just stop.
No, it's okay if the priest says it's okay.
Well, God didn't say it's okay. Allah didn't say it's okay. I mean, killing is a Yahweh says it's not okay. Killings in every scripture, like every holy scripture,
Holy text.
that, like in the Ten
It
Commandments,
states
thou
that you-
shalt not kill.
Thou shalt love thy fellow man.
But people go out and kill each other. Crazy. People don't even believe in what they think they believe in. It's crazy.
It's just the purpose of killing people.
Some kids grow up in some countries, and I know this for a fact, but you probably know this too, knowing that they have to hate a certain culture, but they don't even know why.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
It's basically where all discrimination comes from, though, if you think about it. Where you gonna get it from? Your mother, your father, your friends, you know, maybe your uncle who
Which is
fought
young.
in Vietnam, things like that.
Which is
And human nature, of course.
Yeah, of course. Like any media source or anything like that that might be discriminating, right? You can pick that up as a young child, and you'll probably carry it through. Like no one's just born and be like, man, I hate this certain group.
Oh yeah. Oh.
That's why in that video, remember, they kept on giving examples like Malaysia with the Chinese people, Germany with the Jewish people. I can't remember everything, but it just sounds like every country is racist in some way or another. I mean, Canada is racist to Aboriginal people because when the Europeans came over and like killed everyone.
Oh, Americans, black people.
Yeah, that too. So everybody's a little bit racist. And I have a song that I have here. It's called "Everyone's a Little Bit Racist," and I really want to.
What a coinky dink.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, here it goes.
Is that Joe? I'm Dakota Leslie.
I'm Ryan Lett.
I'm Johnny K.
Alright, we're broadcasting from UFB on 101.7 FM.
He has a question.
Yeah, he has a question. It's very important. Go!
Where's Andy?
Oh, Andy. Andy had to go to somewhere. Johnny, you
Yeah.
got something.
Andy had to go to the Envision concert series.
Oh, the Envision concert series.
I thought he was gonna ride a unicorn and stuff.
Oh, well, that's how he gets there.
Yeah. So you don't see him.
Yeah, it's on a cloud of farts and rainbows. It's great.
Okay.
Oh, I did want to say something. I just want to say that what I'm saying here is that, and I find this very often on other shows that I tend to frequent every now and then. It's hard to have a 100% full-hearted conversation about things like racism stuff, because if you notice, we are always censoring ourselves. We're never able to say fully what we mean to say because we are still afraid of always offending somebody, and I attribute that to what other people suffer from. Other people suffer from other people's bleeding heart syndrome, where you can't say anything about anybody because you're gonna offend somebody.
the best example would have been what I just did. I cut off early that little clip that Andy put on just because I found it was going a little bit south.
That's right. And it was an honest opinion about something, but we decided to not play the rest just because we're gonna offend somebody, and therefore everybody has a little bit of something to say, but we never get the full picture of anything. And then wars start.
Absolutely. We get offended and then we attack. It's weird. It's human nature.
That's it.
That's it.
Rah!
Alright, I got something really quick to say. This is going to be an opinion that I'm going to ask both of you.
Oh.
Death from Above, 1979. Have you ever heard of the band?
Yes, I used to have one of their discs that had a cool remix of Romantic Rights.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe.
So they said recently, this week, Kurt Cobain would blow his head off if he was alive today because of what our social media does and what we do. What do you believe about that?
That sounds like a reasonable opinion.
My opinion that I posted on this radio station's Facebook page was, my actual opinion, not what I thought about the fact. No one should be saying this because that's up to Kurt Cobain's family to think about, really, and leave it at that. That's, for the people that knew Kurt Cobain, not just as a musician. But I think, honestly, this was my actual opinion. I thought, if he did it then, he might have done it today.
Right.
He obviously proved that he could do it.
Right.
Yeah. So I just.
Oh, okay,
left it
so
at
wait,
that.
let's put this into context. Do you mean that the fellow said Kurt Cobain would have blown off his head because of social media, or because it exists there and he would want to broadcast it to everybody?
Well, what I believe that they tried to say, the article said a little bit more about this, but they were starting to say that, he would never have alone time because of like Twitter updates and, photos constantly.
Honestly, I think Kurt Cobain was one of those smart people that knew when to just put it down and walk away from it.
Yeah.
That's how I do that. I'm a smart person.
Everybody clap for Johnny.
Thank you. Seriously, I'm still proud of my flip phone.
You're so proud of your foot.
So I don't have to walk down the street almost bumping into lamp posts. And
That's
you know,
me.
when I go home, it's like, I say I gotta go to my little computer, gotta check my emails, gotta make sure all my fans are happy, all three of them out there,
All three
and
of them.
then just turn off my computer and go eat something.
Yeah.
And I don't have to tell everybody what I'm eating either.
Well, I want to know now that you said that you don't want to.
Well, tough.
I kind of feel unsafe, like, where the social media is, like, they're on the phone constantly. So when people drive, I don't feel kind of safe because I walk everywhere. It's like when they're driving on the phone, it's like they're not even paying attention to the road. It's just like, oh, you
Yeah,
can't see what I'm
yeah,
doing
like
right now. But
that's why it is illegal. Some people just can't handle driving with handheld
yeah, but,
devices.
a few days ago, I saw some chick do this. I had to say that because it was a woman. Not being offended or anything, it was a woman.
I have a question.
Yes, John.
Are we talking about Israel anymore, or have we moved
No,
on?
I just kind of left it at that. We spoke our opinions.
Good.
Yeah, I'm just-
Good. I want to. I like this conversation.
Johnny's like, don't cut me off, please.
This is one of my favorite conversations. You darn kids, get off my lawn with your iPods.
What's a Snapchat?
Oh man.
Take a picture of this, Birdie. Instagram this.
What is the deal with that anyway? People always take pictures of the foods. I make jokes about it in restaurants and I let everybody know.
Or it's just
I'm just like, I'm gonna take a photo about my food. I don't have my phone in my hand though, so they know I'm not.
okay, I'm gonna take a picture with my phone in a mirror. Oh yeah, it's so good. But it even has an inside camera.
Yeah. Like some of the photos though aren't even like artistic dishes. That makes sense, right? If it's like an artistic dish, like maybe a fish sculpture out of fish. I don't know.
I can understand
like-
wanting to take a picture of like food, like macaroni in the shape of a penguin. Yeah, sure.
Well,
But if
yeah.
it's just like,
Excuse me. Never mind the art about food and stuff. as far as duck-faced photos with the peace sign, okay.
Johnny's the best at this.
That's right. No, you know what? Don't even go there because I have the #1 duck-faced peace sign pics, and so all of you out there should stop, cause I'm the queen,
You're the queen.
and I'm the king, I'm the prince, I'm the princess, I'm the jester.
I'd rather be the overlord.
Oh, good call.
So did you guys hear about the Peach Fest up in Penticton?
Nope.
I know there is one.
Alright, that's
Oh, is that where the guy died?
No,
What's
that was Boonstock. That was
Oh.
Boonstock.
Oh, you know, I have something
I
else to
believe
say
it was a
about that,
woman.
but I'll just remind me that I have something to say about festivals after you're
Well,
done.
it's on the topic of festivals, so that's awesome. But Emerson Drive played and Trooper. They were really good.
Trooper.
Trooper made a lot of jokes before their songs, and I'm not gonna say them because they're inappropriate, but they were good. I could say it after the show, just not on air.
He's in the big white sports car!
But I don't know. Just the Penticton scene's a lot different from outside. I find there's a lot more preppier kids there. A lot of them would check me out, which was weird. They're not even. They were totally straight because they all had a woman in their arms, but they looked at me and then they just gave me a scummy face, and I'm like, well, if you want to date, just ask, but you're gonna have to lose the girl if you want to be with me.
I hear ya.
Yeah.
Happens to me all the time.
Like, I don't understand it though. Like, don't check out what another guy's wearing unless if you're interested. Right? It makes more sense that way.
But they are interested, just not in the way you want them to be interested.
Well, maybe that's my own personal
I'm
preference.
actually curious. What way do you want them to be interested in?
Let's not go into that.
I know, I'm just not telling.
Oh.
So let me say something about festivals.
Alright.
There are just too darn many festivals. Don't you think there are too many festivals?
The Squamish Festival, the Squat Meat Festival.
there's a Deer Lake Festival for crying out loud. In Burnaby, there's when I'm waiting for the Aldergrove Lake Festival. You know, when's the Bradner Festival gonna? Oh yeah, that's the flower show. But you know, I just think we are too inundated with darn festivals.
Well, people just want a reason to celebrate or get drunk or something like that.
Yeah, okay, fair enough.
Well,
It's,
personally, like, which comes down to why do you need to drink to have fun? Like, I don't get that. A lot of people go to festivals and they pay, I don't know, at City and Keller I heard someone complaining that they paid $60 for a bunch of beer. Well, congrats. Personally, I would, you know, if I was old enough, I would drink before the concert and go.
If
But
you
not
were
to the
old
point. If I was old enough, if I were.
Oh, say it.
I would drink before a concert if I were old enough. Just because that way I wouldn't have to pay for expensive prices at the festival or stadium or whatever it may be.
Makes sense. That's why I eat before I go to any place like that.
Exactly.
I'm not a drinker, but I sure I'm an eater, and I don't like paying, you know, having to.
$4 for a slice.
Yeah.
That's some good price.
It's like movie theater prices, man. That's expensive.
Yeah. That's all I have. Don't stop looking at me. All I said is I like to eat, man. And I don't. I'm not very wealthy. I have to buy vinyl, so.
Come
so
on, Johnny. There's a pizza story in there.
Come on.
I have a pizza story, a very good one, but it's just a little bit off topic, and it's you have to change the topic if you want me to tell my pizza story.
We're changing the topic to pizza stories. This is vital information.
Okay, well this kind of goes in with what you're saying about guys checking out. I was taking a pizza order, and this was just yesterday, and it just stands in my mind because it begs a deeper philosophical question. I always have problems, not always, but often, but always. In my shift, there's always one guy or girl who has a problem with giving me a hotel's phone number and telling me what room they're in and giving me their first and last name, whatever. These are just things that we need when we deliver to hotels. The trouble is, most people have no problem with this. May I have your first and last name? Sure. May I have what room you're in? Sure. not a problem. But then every now and then, just like this guy, I'm like, I need the hotel's phone number. Man, I have no idea what the hotel's phone number is, man. Well, you gotta give me the hotel's phone number. Okay, now I just need the first and last name of the person to whom the room is registered. Then he starts going, I just want to order some pizza, and blah, blah, blah. And then he shouts, I'm never ordering from Pizza Palace ever again. I hate you, and you can suck my ding dong. He didn't say ding dong, but I translated it, okay?
Good job censoring.
Yes.
Yes.
So, and now it begs a deeper question, because it's supposed to be an insult to me. I don't really give a crap, but it makes me think. Now, if you were trying to insult me by telling me to suck your ding dong, now, are you telling me
Doorbell.
Okay, let's use doorbell. Sure. Are you telling me your doorbell is not a very good doorbell? It's not a pretty doorbell? So it's an insult to me to have to lick your doorbell? You know, like, is it maybe a really soggy doorbell? You know? Is it a doorbell that doesn't ring anymore? So like, you know, like, don't you think that if your doorbell were that good, you would reserve it just for royalty to ring it and stuff like that? So really, your insult is really, you're insulting yourself, because you're telling me to suck a doorbell that is not a good doorbell, so you don't have a good doorbell. It doesn't make sense.
I think that's enough about doorbells and entrances, but let's just, I don't know how to move on from that, Johnny. Guide me, mentor.
Oh, what do you need to know now?
Not about
Ask me,
doorknobs.
I'll tell you.
Like, I think he sounded pretty drunk when he was saying that.
This guy, no. I know when there's the drunk person, they tend to say different things.
Different
But-
things.
But yeah.
I'm guessing it's too
They
inappropriate.
slur different things.
Well, yeah, and that you can just tell when somebody's drunk, and they also try to be smart at the same time, and it doesn't really work. I don't have any examples offhand, but yeah, this person was not drunk.
Oh yeah, I've dealt with a drunk person before. I didn't know he was drunk at the time. It was like, he had a hook. I was talking to him randomly. I was like, 13 years old actually. I just randomly.
Now
went to-
hold on. Is this a true story,
It's
or is
true,
this
actually.
a copyright of that book about the hook, man?
No, actually, it was after a Kiss concert, right? It's like in Amsterdam and stuff, right? I was walking home, right? And I just saw this random dude with a hook, right? I just commented on it. I didn't know he was drunk. My parents got angry at me after this because they made a comment that said he could have hurt me seriously because I didn't know he was drunk. Ugh. What does that mean? Just going up to your face?
Anyway, it means come closer to the mic, Ryan. No, I'm just kidding. Johnny. Johnny's trying to be smart with
this
me.
microphone afterward.
Well, should we go back to the Israel and Palestine
No,
conversation?
no, we ended
No,
that.
you know, the trouble with that is too many people, and I am included in this group of people, do not know enough about Palestine and Israel to comment on it. I'm not saying you don't know enough, I'm just saying I don't know enough, and other people that I listen to, for example, news websites that say, ooh, post your opinion. Do you think it's bad what's happening between Israel and Palestine, or do you think Palestine should have their own country? And it's like, but not just that subject, so many other subjects. The last question is, it's like, oh great, you've polled all the experts in the world now, and you get all of these people going, oh, war is bad, and we gotta stop this, and what about the children? And the thing is that people don't know the intrinsic problem there, which really, I believe many people even there, like we were saying earlier, you are raised, and good old playwright Andy, he raised a good point. It has to do with human nature and survival of your culture, and people do grow up in these older world countries, and all they know is it's our culture against their culture.
The Klingons.
And I know this being Greek. For now, things in Canada have gotten better amongst old school Greek people, but for years, all I knew, well, like I knew better, or at least I'll say it's better, just because that's politically correct too. But there were many Greek people who didn't want any Turks around, and vice versa. There was just because of all the hatred between the Greeks and the Turks.
Was that over Helena? The
Oh,
Troy War?
Helen of Troy, yes. Helen of Troy, yes.
Helen of Troy,
yes.
Helen of Troy, sorry.
uh,
I apologize to your culture.
Yeah, that's right. We were doing philosophy while you people were still hanging on trees like monkeys. Anyway, that's from a movie.
I think we're wearing skirts, actually. My culture, personally.
So okay, thanks for cutting me off because now I don't know. I was going somewhere nice with this.
What the Helen and Troy thing?
The Turks and the Greeks. The
Oh
cultural
yeah,
difference.
good. Thank you,
You're
thank
welcome.
you. Okay, it's funny, and I don't want to say too much about this for fear of offending people again, but Greeks were enslaved by Turks for about 400 years. Greeks, if they were caught speaking Greek anywhere, they'd be killed. Greeks had to have their underground schools, and in the end, they fought. They fought and they got their land back, which was originally theirs. In fact, much of the land in Europe and Asia was originally the Greeks, but before then they were originally, so I shouldn't even use the word originally, but I'm using it in the quotation mark idea, because whose land was it originally to begin with, right? The further back you go, it's somebody else's. But the fact is, there were parts of Greece that are not parts of Greece anymore, and the Greeks aren't going around saying, we were enslaved for 400 years, we've lost our language, now we want our land back. It doesn't work like that. But it does in Canada.
Well, wow. that was very powerful, Johnny.
Yeah, it's just left me speechless.
I didn't intend it to be powerful, it just came out that way.
That was Johnny speaking for his ancestors who have been enslaved, and possibly.
That's right, and we move on from it and we try to make things better.
So would you say that you support Aboriginal children having pizza parties or not?
No comment on that. I will not disclose my feelings about pizza right now.
I only mentioned the pizza because Johnny loves his pizza. He truly does. I believe.
You know what? I'm not that big a fan of pizza. I'm a big fan of selling pizza because that's where I make my money.
I'm a big fan of tacos.
Johnny's a businessman.
That's right. Pizza Pals.
Alright, let's go into a little bit of promos and then we'll come back and we'll say our goodbyes and contact info. Thanks for tuning in so far. Too bad Andy couldn't stay, but that's fine. Yeah. The media works.
And how the media works, because here in Canada, the Serbs were the bad people. In Greece, the Bosnians were the bad people. And somewhere in between Canada and Greece, you find the truth. But the only truth you're going to find is whatever is happening right there, you being there. Anything we hear is never the full truth.
Which actually brings up something that brings us back to Israel that I forgot to bring up earlier, but now it ties in perfectly because before it didn't.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Johnny.
Good job.
The Irish senator has said about Israel that they're very right wing, and I can't even say W anymore, but right wing, and very criminal. The Irish senator has said that, whereas the Americans are on Israel's side. It's kind of like how different nations view conflicts, like you're speaking of. Yeah. But anyway, we're going to wrap up the Generation Z show. Happy birthday to Ryan's mom. Yeah, and he was going to say something, but he's like, you said it.
Yeah, good job, Dakota.
Yeah. You can listen to Johnny's show. Johnny, actually, I'll let you talk about your show.
Okay.
What do you got planned this Wednesday?
It's not entirely planned yet. I think I'm gonna play a little more late 80s, early 90s dance music that is on the Vinyl Spinner Show this Wednesday, noon to 4. with a few other surprises, because you know what? It's 4 hours long. I tend to be able to cover quite a bit of ground in 4 hours, at least until I start rambling about something like
Pizza.
pizza. I can't stop. But while I've got the conch, I just want to mention I'm also on iHeart Latin America Wednesdays 11 to noon before my show, and then I'm on the Larch Show Thursdays 9 a.m. to 11, and then the Boogity Shoe Blues Show Saturdays 3 to 5, and then the show 5 to 6 Saturdays.
Alright. You can check our Facebook page out at www.facebook.com/GenZShow or YouTube at youtube.com/GenZShow, or our Twitter when that gets made up eventually. I'll post it on Facebook, so stay tuned. Yeah, you can see Andy. Is there Jam Jubilee this week? I believe there is. You can see it.
There's one more Thursday, like obviously not 2 days ago. Next Thursday coming up, so that's the last one of the season.
Alright, well, Andy will be leaving then, so you can't see Andy there, but I believe you can see Johnny and Aaron, our station manager, there at Jam Jubilee.
Yeah, I do plan to be there at the Save Yale booth, and I will go to Town Hall after to catch Harm Away, because they're awesome.
Is there anything I missed, Ryan?
No, I think you covered it all.
Alright, we're gonna wrap the show up a little bit early. Thanks for listening. Goodbye.
This is the Gen Z Show.